We're gonna get this one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on the unfiltered journey of Lindsay. I will let y'all know that we have not tonight and then the rest of through October. I'm going to get through it fast and furious because I have been doing a lot of praying about this series, and I feel like my time needs to be utilized somewhere else. I don't know what that's going to look like. I don't know if that means that I'm going to jump on and do something in our team page that's a little different. I don't know if I needed just to get this vulnerability out, but I know that as of tonight and then the rest, that's 6 weeks of just kind of getting us wrapped up and getting us through that, and then seeing what my next journey is going to be, just so that you get some real, raw, unfiltered Lindsay. Because I think that that's what's important. Whether that's me training on something that I don't know what I'm doing and we're going to do it together, I don't know what that's going to look like. I just know that evenings seem to be, even though I have no kids at home, just chaos. It just seems like every Tuesday night the devil is trying to get me, and I'm not going to allow that to happen. Um, but tonight's unfiltered journey is where I kind of want to tell you where the road, I hate to say, it's so hard to put this, the road to success gets rocky, maybe. Um, because in 2014, 2015, 16, 17, 18, even into 19, guys, our team soared. Soared. Um, my personal business was soaring, but this is where I like to get down to the nitty gritty of where I feel like things kind of flip flopped. I feel like social media, this is before 2020 hit. Social media might have flip flopped where we grew so fast, like I told you last week. I wish that I would have done things differently. That is kind of where I feel like the road gets rocky. And where the road got rocky is, like I said, this is again, unfiltered Lindsay journey. I was so concerned about our team because that's my nature. I'm a people pleaser. I want to be there for them. I'm going to support them. If you come with me at a crazy idea, um, I'm probably going to throw something even crazier out at you. That's just how I roll. And there's no shame in that game. However, I feel like it brought a ton of diversity on our team. And I think that's across the board because I don't feel like that is just a Thriving Sisters thing. I don't feel like that's just a Lindsay Dickens Rendall thing. I don't think that's just a Lavelle Thrive thing. I think that is a network marketing thing. And the reason why I say that is so many different teams were running team pages, they were running team Zooms, they were doing so much that I felt like Stretch Armstrong, where I wanted to be on everybody's stuff, right? Because I want to support and I want to be here and I want to do that and I want to host those leadership retreats so that we can get to know our uplines, our downlines, our sidelines, all of the things that in the midst of that, I lost my personal business. And I say that because even though we had $1 million team and we hit like I say $1 million team, there's very few people that hit $1 million in a month, even to this day with Lavelle. Okay. So that's a huge accomplishment that Thriving Sisters did and did for quite some time. I mean, if I go back and see my numbers, we probably did it off and on over a 3 year period 16 times. So think about that right there. That's $1 million in vitamins sold. Okay. And that sounds great until it's your level 52 and it's your level 75. And it's like you're not bringing in personal business. And when I say that, I don't say that I show up. My open sign is always on unless I have no service like this weekend. But my open sign was always on. Everybody knew I was the Thriver. I mean, even the town of Crum, I would make I know every town has it, but back in the day it was called the Crum Rant and Raves. And they would all know, like the Thrive drug dealer. I was a joke. There was a joke on there about me that went, if we want to call it viral. It had a bajillion different things. Everybody knew me, but when you take that one step back of not reaching out to people and saying, hey, you need this product, I want you on this product, and you worry so much about building your team up and being there for them, that your personal business struggles. And that's where the first part of my not so perfect journey started is I always worry about other people. I'll take the shirt off my back, I'll do this. But once you start like stepping back, and I don't want to say that there's no easy way for me to put this. I always have worked my business, but I wasn't doing my reach outs the way I was doing the minimal that I thought felt like I needed to do because I was needed over here. I was needed over here to be at this local or this Zoom or this meeting or this phone call, whatever it was in all of those couple of years, that I wasn't bringing on my own personal people and helping them run. I was bringing on and helping a level 3, 4, 5, 25, 52, and I'll still do that to this day. That's my nature. That's not going to change. But one of the life lessons that I had to learn because I believe that every day, every journey, everything is a lesson, right? You either learn from it or you continue to trip over it and never learn or be successful. Is I let my personal business go to the wayside. I was doing things and we'll all admit it. You've even heard Cliff on phone calls, like flipping customers to promoters because you want to earn this trip or doing this. Like instead of genuinely going out there and making sure that this person wanted to be a promoter, I was doing it so that I could be at that trip. I could do that thing. I could make this happen because that's what leaders do, right? That you always want to lead from the front, but also you need to get yours out of the way so that you can help other people, right? And I was allowing myself to be so caught up in making sure that Thriving Sisters Tribe got on the map and that so many people were being seen and heard because growth was exponential throughout the entire company. It was insane how fast everybody was growing and hitting new ranks and walking across that stage and doing different things that I know it wasn't just me. We have a roundtable discussion now every other week with top leaders that are still in this company that are tried and true, and we all have the same story. That's what's so crazy is people had the same story that walked this path through network marketing. I have never been in a true, huge, big corporate job up high to know if they experience the same things, but I think the few Netflix series that I've watched, I would say they experience some of the same things. But I allowed myself to step to the side and help so many other people instead of keeping my head down and saying, okay, I'm going to help this new promoter. I'm going to get them where they need to go. Um, and it was a double edged sword because in the beginning, I helped my promoters so much that my personals that I don't know if I hurt them because I held their hands so much that like they couldn't find things and they didn't take the time to go look for things. Can anybody relate to that? Because we want this so bad for other people that instead of saying, hey, go to the cloud office, look under teams and look under your, or go to the cloud office and look under your teams, you'll find your customers there. I went and I would do it for them. I would go and do this or I'd go help them do that because, again, I was full time, right? I wanted to help people, I wanted to grow. However, I was making my own personals, I hate to use the word lazy, but dependent on me. And then what happens when somebody becomes dependent on you? If your business, if their business kind of goes backwards, then they don't pick up the phone and say, hey, I messed up, I need help. They were just letting them dwindle and go away and not figure out what the problem was or not ask for help because they didn't know this or they didn't know that. So I spoon fed them so much in the beginning to where I got to the point where I was like burnt out per se, that I was like, I don't want to build personals right now. I just want to build a big team, a big deep and wide team that I can help, and we will get there. Well, I wish I could say that I have zero regrets, but I regret that because I always thought, that song, deep and wide, that is not true in network marketing. As much as you want to go deep and you want to help your people, you still have to stay wide. And when I say wide, you want your own personals. You want to keep your personal people, you want to grow them. You want to move them a little bit in your waiting room. But I was always the person that I'd see a level 10 and be like, I want to go help that person. Well, you know how many people that I have right now that don't do jazz, and that's part of it. Okay, that's part of network marketing and residual income that people will come and go. But if I would have put myself first, which is very hard for me to do, I think that things would look differently today. Okay. And you live and you learn and you grow. So that's why I'm here to say the unjourney filtered for me to help y'all now not make the same mistakes that I did. Because I thought if I had 75 levels growing, Lindsay's going to be fat and happy for a long time. Well, when your levels 1 through 8 peter out and they don't work, that is not the case. And that it's just not. That's not how network marketing, or at least I should say, Lavelle's pay structure is. You want your top 8 levels working. And so in those last couple of years before COVID hit, was just still raking in the dough, still making stupid money, but it starts to dwindle off. And then you start getting your check collectors. Then you start getting, there's so many different team pages and team Zooms and so many cut off that you two ladies, if it wouldn't have been for y'all to reach up, you probably would have never even known who Lindsay or Susan were. Yes, did we host retreats and you got to know us that way? Do you want to know why we hosted retreats? Because we wanted to get to know those team members that we know are somewhere down in there that either don't have a connection with us or that do have a connection with us and deserve to be seen and heard. So that goes 2 different ways. So, what I think is important for you to know on this journey is there's no perfect roadmap. Like, I even sometimes cringe when I see that we've come up with a roadmap. And I've told Samantha and Tammy this because there isn't a perfect roadmap to this. If I were to set you up right now, I would tell Debbie to work her business the same way she did it. Carolyn, I would tell you because I've seen firsthand what it can do for you. But guess what happens when you go through an unfortunate situation? And there's some of us on here that have gone through that. We work our spouse's account, we work our kids' account, we work our crazy sister's account. God love her, but and they just dwindle and they're gone. All that hard work that I did, Lindsay, did is now dust in the wind because I thought that that made the most sense. And it did in my bank account in the moment, but I could tell you long term, it probably would have changed a lot of things. And so that's where you really have to sit down and you have to figure out like, do I want instant gratification? Do I want like this extra car payment in our family for however long it lasts? Do I want this or that? Or do I want to build for longevity? So in the beginning, I have no regrets. Pay was great, life was good, but I will tell you now, sitting here in this chair in 2026, it looks a lot different because there are a lot of people that either I can't get to come back, re-sign up, work their business, do different, try it again because they either got burnt out or there was a miscommunication in a team page or a situation that I knew nothing about. There's also a lot of people that I put under my spouse and under my sister who still pay that $100 a month. And they're not going to switch. You know what I'm saying? Because what little bit that they do get, they get their free thrive. Whereas if I could work with them and would have stayed working with them hand in hand, and I do, I still work. If I waiting room somebody or I put somebody, I still work with them hand in hand. But when their person falls off, guess what happens? You start seeing a shift. You start seeing when one person's excitement goes away, you start seeing that go down. And it is what it is. I mean, everybody's life is going to change. Things are going to happen in your life. Um, I went through a divorce during those years. Not only did I go through a 2-year divorce, The day after my paperwork was signed, guess what happened? My ex-husband turned around and sued me. So that lasted another 5 years. For 7 years of my 11-year journey, a lot of people did not realize that I was in and out of a courtroom. I was in and out, mind you, my daughter is still in school. I am getting remarried to the love of my life, which I have no regrets. I have the biggest support now. But for over 7 years of these 11 and a half years that I've been with Lavelle, I'd been in and out of a courtroom fighting for my livelihood, fighting for my worth, fighting for a lot of different things that a lot of people aren't aware of. And but I didn't let that stop me. I only let that drive me because that's what my other side wanted. They wanted to win that battle. And I knew that I had set and made my vision board. I was not going back to work during some of the most important years of my daughter's life, which was high school. All of this, the majority of the chaos went on when Bradley was in high school. And those were the years that I legit, no point intended, thrived and lived for. I wanted to be at every pepper rally. I wanted to be at every game. I wanted to be the cool mom that brought the sandwiches and the lunch or the pizza. I wanted to be the mom that all the kids wanted to sign out and ride home with. Those are the things I longed for. And so for me, I could have thrown in the towel. I could have went back to corporate America because between the stress of running $1 million team, the stress of going through a divorce and then being sued, on top of trying to build a new marriage and a daughter to trust that new marriage, all of that was unwinding in front of my business. And I say that to say that we all are going to have things happen. In the middle of that, I lost grandparents that meant the world to me. But I will tell you too that during that journey and through this Thriving Sisters tribe, I was brought closer to Jesus. So there's so many different things to see and say, but I want you to know that like this journey is an onion and there's layers that have to be peeled back that a lot of people don't know about. I think people just see the millionaire award and the she stays home from work and she and this and that. They don't see the nights that I stayed up and said, I'm not going to stop. I have to get back to work. And so it was that turning point when I said, I'm excited for my team, but they're doing what they need to do. I've got to pull the reins and I've got to get back to building Lindsay's business. I've got to get back to getting a customer base. I'll tell you right now, there was a month when I was a 200K promoter, but I missed because I was so worried about everybody else and I'm sure the stress of my life that you have to have 4 active and qualified promoters to hit your next rank. It starts at 12K and up. I missed that. I did not get paid that month the full paycheck because I missed one $100 order. Talk about a huge decrease in my pay when I needed it the most. But you know what? Sometimes you have to hit rock bottom before you can come back up, right? That was an experience for me that says you need to slow down. You need to get out of calendar and you need to get your life together. Like you need to stop. During that time, I missed one car payment, jacked me up for life. Like it ruined my credit almost. I mean, who knew that a late car payment could jack you up that bad? I didn't, but I do now. Or I did then. And I'm telling you these things to let you know that I am human, okay? What else happened? Oh, there were several months when I didn't even have 2 customers driving for free. A 200K promoter who did not even have 2 customers thriving for free because I was so busy doing so much other stuff that I didn't realize that so and so took their thing off of auto ship. And all because back then you did have to look through your reports. Like, it was a little bit harder, but that still as a leader and as an individual that Thrive changed my life. I was letting other things get in my way. So my TED Talk tonight is it was high when it was high, and it was low when it was low. But again, I am always going to wrap this up in a bow to let you know that number one, we're human. Number two, if this journey were easy, everybody would be doing it, right? And number three, the most important thing is I went back and started working my personal business. I went back to my old school ways of writing down my 10-year accomplished goals, making sure I wrote down what I was grateful for, getting back to that damn 5 4 3 2 1. I literally cringe when I hear that because I have heard it for so long. But I know at the end of the day that that is what changed my life, my business, right? My personal business. And right now, over the last 5 years, I have been in a rebuilding mode, but I've also been in a major season of rebuilding. But I still know that even on my rough days, or even on I work my personal business before I ever work my team business, because I have now learned to utilize my resources and say, help me with this, do that. I was one person, and like last night on our team Zoom, like Jennifer said, your cup, you got this vase, and it'll flow over, and it'll overflow. Mine was bone dry because I was giving, 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 thinking that was the right thing to do, and it was. I don't regret it. I just wish that I would have never put my personal business to the side. I wish I would have started with that, gave myself a time allotment, because I still to this day give myself that, and then move on to my team business. So, food for thought. Next week, we are going to come back and talk about how January, well, actually, we'll talk about when I hit the Millionaire Award, and then bam, no more did I hit that. Then COVID hits. So, we'll talk about what changed in that year because I have no regrets. 2020 was one of my highest paid years. So that is why we're going to get back to remembering that we don't always have to be face to face. That network marketing is can be your phone as well. So we have two. I'm going to give a plug here. Rhonda and Tracy are on the team Zoom, or on the corporate Zoom tonight. So go and listen to them. You can be doing all your stuff around the house while you're listening to them and listening to corporate. Um, but I don't know about you, but I'm hoping that like if they see that we're on that Zoom, that they might pick some winners to get some beta testing because your girl wants it. But hope that allowed you to see some vulnerability of who Lindsay is. I really try to be real raw and honest, but it's been a long time for me to go back to those days and remember that like it wasn't perfect. And I had a lot going on, and I had a lot of things slip through the cracks because I was trying to be superwoman, and you can't always be superwoman. So I love y'all, and we will talk to you next week. Bye, guys.